Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf, and today while I was out scouring around the countryside, excuse me, looking for a tidbit to bring back to you to help with the leadership of your business, your entrepreneurial life, found something that you may find very interesting. The first got a question for you. How many different ways do your employees access your systems? And depending on the size of your company, if you've got 400 people, how many different software systems do you have? At really large companies, I've seen as many as 5, 6, or more engineering systems. Maybe you have 2 or 3 different engineering systems, 3 or 4 different financial software systems on the accounting and finance side for a lot of different reasons, but it creates a problem. How do you have a standardized process? And how do you get everybody accessing and using those processes in a way that gets the job done, makes it easier for their job, gets the information that you need as the process is moving along slowly, smoothly, so the data doesn't get re-entered again and again and again. So, see, data entry, this is from the 1980s. We were talking about how you enter the data one time and that's it. Because if you have to enter it again and again, as you've likely seen, there's more room for error, which also means more errors occur. So you're spending more time fixing errors, having reports that don't work right, systems that don't talk to each other because it didn't get input right. So here's something on the input side. Walmart thinks they have a solution for their company. That's a huge organization, right? Global retailer, one of the biggest distribution systems in the world. They're going to buy 740,000 phones. Let me rephrase that. They're going to give phones to everybody in their everybody that's on their payroll. 740,000 employees are going to get a high-end Samsung phone so that they can access the apps the company has set up to keep the information moving the way that it needs to move. You know, if you don't have the right information at the right time and it's not correct, what use is it? And how many problems does that cause? How many times have you not gotten a key piece of information that you needed? You know, it could be a major client having a challenge paying an invoice, so something's coming in late and causes a problem somewhere else, as an example. So imagine that. If everybody had the same cell phone running the same app, would that make it much smoother and much more reliable to get information into the system for people to be able to access information, to be able to have a status from one person to the next on work that they're doing being passed on to the next, to the next person, their internal customers, and what's coming from their internal suppliers? Could be. Now, this is, Walmart is making a huge expense. And I'm sure they're not paying the $500 retail for the phone. Yet, that's a huge investment. You think about that. That's a lot of zeros when you multiply $500, or say they get it for half that, 250, even if it's 100. Right? If it's $100 their cost times 740,000 people, that's adding 2 zeros. That's a lot of money. So how much must that improve their processes to make that big of an investment? So think about that. Where are you investing time and money? There's a lot more leverage in investing it up front in the process than downstream, like when something goes wrong and having to fix. So just food for thought. How are you standardizing? How can you standardize? And this is going to prove to be even more and more important for 2 reasons. One, you need to continue to adapt, pivot, as they called it in 2020 during the pandemic lockdown, which, depending on which state you're living in, still going on. California found out from their governor over the weekend that June 15th will not be the state reopening date. So we'll see how that goes. Depending on where you're at, may or may not be open, but you still need to adapt to all the changes that are coming, the chaos that's continuing to flow through your business, your life, the economy that affects your clients and your team as well. You need to adapt to that. Secondly, efficiency is going to be important with increasing inflation. Former Fed Chair Yellen recently said that she actually thought inflation was too low and interest rates were too low, and that was a problem. And it would help the economy to have higher inflation and higher rates. Now, what that really means by higher, we can only hope is within the normal guidance for the Fed. But think about that. B of A says, Bank of America says, high inflation, hyperinflation is on the horizon. So efficiency and ability to be able to adapt are paramount, as always, just more so in this kind of chaotic environment. And standardization, efficiency in operations helps you keep the cost down. But also, when you have clear, standardized processes, it makes it easier for your team to implement changes, especially when they need to be implemented quickly, than to have sloppy, disconnected processes. And that's both physical process, paper process, and electronic process. It's all got to be in sync. So, food for thought. Want to hear your comments. Hope this is a good Tuesday for you. You having a terrific Tuesday? Certainly hope so. As always, want to hear your comments and hit the like button and tell me, how are things working for you? What is going on with how you're standardizing your processes, making sure you're getting the information in, making sure that it's convenient so that the apps that you've invested in to make your business run more smoothly, to make your team's jobs easier, are being used the way intended. And when there's issues, it's getting highlighted and solved. So thanks for joining us for this Wolf Watch. It's always good to chat with you. And as always, I'm Wolf, and I will see you on the trail.